Two kids dig in their backyard. What they discovered shocked everybody. One of the main objectives that people put for themselves is owning a car, and most of us start saving for that once we land our first job. Yet others are so fortunate that they can afford more cars than they need and end up leaving some of those cars unattended, gathering dust in some dark garage. And some of those cars are ridiculously expensive. Now imagine an average person finding one of those cars after being buried underground for half a century before being unearthed. Today's stories are just about that. But before we start, make sure to subscribe if you haven't and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any new stories. Time capsules are a typical American thing that's been going on for a long time, and it still is. They're some sort of message or a gift to the future generations, a way to make sure those who live in the future will have an idea how we live today. In 1957, when celebrating the 50th anniversary of Oklahoma, the city of Tulsa residents and authorities wanted to honor the occasion and do something that would mark the century milestone celebration, as well as living a time capsule for 2007 generation. After debating what to be included in that capsule, they seem to have agreed upon leaving a car in it. Yeah, you heard me right, a car, and not any car, a brand new Plymouth Belvedere that was back then considered a luxurious model. The residents sealed the car in an underground vault in front of the town hall building. After they made sure they took all the necessary measures to protect the car from the elements so that future generations find the gift intact. The reinforced concrete used to build the capsule made it a bunker that was strong enough to survive a nuclear attack. They even made sure the fuel tank was full and 5 liters of oil were poured into the engine, and a fresh layer of wax was applied to the entire body to protect the paint. Other memorabilia and local products believed to mark the era were included in the capsule as well. Objects such as the car's keys, cigarettes, medicine, and beer were left in the car. The crypt also included a metal container that contained 10 liters of engine oil and 20 liters of gasoline in case technology in 2007 was so developed and such supplies were obsolete. The local church also left some documents in there, along with a map of Douglas Airport, some newspaper copies, a U.S. flag, and of course messages from the mayor and other representatives. Once the car was in, the crypt was sealed by slabs of concrete, then covered by a layer of soil. Then the site was ornated by a commemorative metal plaque that documented the event and indicated the date on which future generations were supposed to excavate the time capsule. Trying to decide who would be the lucky future one to get the car, the authorities organized a lottery with one difficult condition. The winner had to guess the number of Tulsa inhabitants in 2007, and 812 people participated in the contest, and all their answers were recorded on a tape that was kept in the glove compartment of the Plymouth Belvedere. Then the locals eagerly waited for the day on which what they called Miss Belvedere would be revealed again. They even made an official website that people could consult to learn about the time capsule and view photos of the interment ceremony. Time flew by, and 2007 came with the 100th birthday of Oklahoma, and with it the excavation of Miss Belvedere, and all the messages that were sent from the past. After 18 months of preparations, the locals, as well as tourists and journalists, gathered excitedly eager to witness the long-awaited event and see the luxurious car seeking the sunlight after 50 years spent in the darkness, buried underground. Amongst the crowd, there were even some spectators who witnessed the day the car was sealed in its capsule and wondered who would be lucky enough to win the car, as its value multiplied several times over the years. The ceremony started by removing the first layer of ground, followed by lifting the concrete slabs one at a time. Yet, to the dismay of everyone, the car was submerged in water, as rainwater had made its way into the crypt over the years, despite all the measures taken by the engineers 50 years ago. The car was more of a submarine than a car, and they needed to pump the water out before lifting it using a crane, and all hope of getting Plymouth Belvedere in good condition were gone. Upon moving the car into the conference center, where it was supposed to be revealed, it was apparent to all the attendees that the car was covered in a thick layer of mud and dust, both on the outside and on the inside. Rust covered the body and the engine, while the interior elements were completely soaked and rotten. To put it in simple terms, the Belvedere was as good as the mud covering it. Further inspection revealed that the car keys and the tape were nowhere to be found. The only things that survived were the things sealed within the welded container, and luckily a written record of the contest participants was saved in it. The lottery winner announcement went on as planned, yet the lucky winner was Raymond Anderson, who passed away in 1979. So the prize went to his 100-year-old sister. Raymond guessed that the residence number by 2007 would be 384,743, whereas the actual number was 382,457. So his answer was closest. This wasn't the end of the story, as local car enthusiasts bought the car from the winner and decided to restore it. The job was done by a local company specialized in rust removal products, and the car started shaking off the damage done by half a century of catastrophic storage. When Miss Belvedere was exhibited in Illinois Museum of History in 2015, it looked new as it shone under the light and drew the attention of all the amazed attendees, just as it was always meant to be. This is not the only documented case of a car that was buried underground, as what two kids found in the 1970s in their yard amazed everyone. It all happened when a family bought a new house just outside of Los Angeles. And to the family's dismay, their two sons loved digging the ground and leaving holes all around the courtyard. The parents strongly disapproved of this behavior and scolded them regularly, yet to no avail. One day, as the kids were playing in the backyard, they did what they loved the most and started digging a hole. As the kids were digging deeper in the ground, they hit something solid. So excited by their discovery, the kids started digging around it, trying to excavate it. Yet it was bigger than they thought. Persuading their parents that what they found must be precious, unearthing what was under the soil became a family endeavor. Under all the layers of ground and grass laid a Ferrari that shocked everyone. Yet the parents called the police, thinking that it might be related to a crime. Law enforcement authorities got involved in the excavation process, and to the surprise of everyone, it was a brand new 1974 Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. As the police were investigating the car and how it got there, the news went viral, and the kids became overnight celebrities. Investigations revealed that the car was buried in what was originally a swimming pool, yet they could not identify who buried a supercar there. Further investigations revealed that the car belonged to an old man, and it was stolen as he was dining at a restaurant in LA. The police hypothesized that the thieves might have hidden the car there so that they could come back to it later, and that something went wrong with them, and so the car remained hidden there, unbeknown to anybody else. The case got even stranger when the police couldn't trace the owner of the Ferrari. Later on, the car was bought by a man known as Brad Howard for $72,000 and restored to its original state. And once again, the car was driven in the large roads of Los Angeles where it belonged. A few years down the line, a journalist decided to write a detailed article about the mysterious Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. And as he was collecting materials for his story, he stumbled upon some interesting evidence that the police didn't have. He took what he found to the police, and the investigations were resumed again, and the real crime behind the car was finally discovered. It turned out that the original owners went bankrupt and lost all their possessions, yet they had a special affection for the luxury car. So they decided to hide it, and at the same time benefit from the insurance money to relieve some of their financial burdens. Their plan worked as expected, yet one question remains unanswered. Why didn't they dig the car up during all those years? The good news is that there are cars and many other valuable objects buried under the ground or in forgotten places that no one cares to go to. All that's needed is someone lucky enough to find them. Thanks for watching.